Hail and well met, Shirefolk. In today's video, we're going to be doing our third installment of our Reckoning Larp costume build, so stick around. Alright guys, so if you haven't seen the other videos in this series, we are collaborating with Reckoning Larp to do some promotional photo shoots for each of the 4 factions at the Larp. And we've done the Vatercan faction, the Hadrian faction, and now we are going to be doing the Suzak-Mar faction. So I'm going to send it over to Abby to give you a little bit of background on the faction, and then we'll jump into the costume builds.
So our next faction up is the Suzak-Mar. The aesthetic influences of the Suzak-Mar faction are a variety of different cultures, including things like the Ottoman Empire and the Edo period of Japan. The reason for this is actually in the lore of this faction, all the peoples of the Suzak-Mar come from an entirely different continent from the March. Now, the March is the place that Reckoning, the game, takes place. All the other factions are from roughly somewhere within the area of the March. The Suzak-Mar, however, come from a continent called Lashar. And Lashar is a continent full of kind of rocky plains and deserts with big cities kind of sprinkled throughout that are hubs of culture and arts and society. I should say was, because unfortunately there was a giant dramatic natural or maybe not natural event that occurred in Lashar that forced all of the Suzak-Mar to leave the continent. This was called the Weeping. So during the Weeping, they all left the continent, and unfortunately, after they had crossed a land bridge into the March, that land bridge sunk into the ocean. So now the Suzak-Mar are actually all stuck in the March, basically as refugees, trying to make their home there. They're different peoples from different cultures, but they're all bonded by this desire to survive in this new place that they can call home. So in building our kits for the Suzak-Mar, we had to think about things like, what would someone wear if they were out in the desert in a very arid area? So we wore a lot of thin layers of things like linen and kept our skin well insulated from the harsh sun. It was very fun to do this kind of new kit that wasn't so inspired by colder regions that are kind of further north. So we had a lot of fun doing that. This faction also tends to have a lot of ornate jewelry and a lot of very specific kinds of accessories. So it was fun to practice that, and it was also a big challenge trying to pull those things just out of the things and kit pieces that we already owned. As we were scoping out an area to kind of match what Lashar might look like, we came across a nearby park that actually happens to be an abandoned quarry. So it's a big bowl filled with a lot of rock and a lot of kind of fine sand that makes it look a little bit like an arid desert area. Another thing we got to do when we were setting up this photo shoot is we remembered that there was something really fun that players did last year at Reckoning. A lot of Suzak-Mar characters actually came together to make kind of a little shopping area or a bazaar where they sold different items for the in-game currency. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of show a certain kind of mercantile side of this faction by setting up a bazaar during our photo shoot and selling all different kinds of wares and exchanging coin. And it ended up being really fun and immersive to help us get into the mindset of how to be a Suzak-Mar. Now that we've talked a little bit about the faction itself, let's jump into the costume build. So I started with a cream linen Mythalon shirt, some black harem pants from Amazon, and my Tiva Della Vina boots. On top of that, I added a flowy yellow scarf to kind of play the role of a tunic because that's the faction color. And to add some texture, I added 2 thrifted belts with some gems and medallions and a lace black scarf. To top all that off, I included a quiver of arrows over my shoulder and also my bow. Although for the past 2 photo shoots I was putting together non-combatant kits, for this one I was really excited to put together a warrior archer costume, and I really like how it came together.
So for Matthew's base layer, he started out with some black poofy pants, along with a tan tunic from BURGSCHNEIDER. Then he added this black tabard, also from BURGSCHNEIDER. Next, he added this goldish yellow sash around his waist, and then added some armor, including this black leather set of tassets, along with these black leather greaves that we got from Medieval Collectibles. Next, he added the black leather bracers of the same set. Then he added this black leather baldric with this nice gold ornate buckle, and of course his sword. Then he added this yellow scarf, along with his bow and his quiver of arrows on his belt. Overall, we really liked how the kit came together.
I come close. I've come close, but never. It was daylight savings.
Alright guys, that's it for this video today. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to Reckoning Larp for allowing us to collaborate with them on this project. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on our social media. And don't forget to follow Reckoning Larp on their socials as well. We have one more video to go in this series, and that is the Rivlin faction, which is our personal faction in-game, so we're excited for that one. If you're interested, stay tuned. We'll see you in the next one. Adventure awaits.